Welcome to part 2 of my Sephora haul. These are the products we're going to be talking about. Some of these, in particular, this Kosas blush and the Natasha Denona concealer. You know how the buzz dies down after the initial launch? Well, I keep hearing about these products, with this one being compared to the Hourglass blushes. That's a very bold claim, so we're gonna test them side by side and see if they are comparable in any way. Let's get started. Before we jump into the foundation, let's talk about what I have going on in my eyes. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pop Shot in the shade Smokey Quartz. These pop shots are not new, but the shade is new, I believe. And I could not resist. Look at that. Let me show you the swatch here. Really beautiful, right? All right, let's start with the Huda Easy Blur Foundation. Now, I couldn't wait, and I did try this already because, I mean, come on. It's called Easy Blur. I wanted to know how much of a blurring effect it really had. And let me tell you, I didn't see much of a blurring effect. Let me know if you've tried it, what you think of it. But maybe it was just me, so I'm gonna give it another shot. I have it in the shade 230. Starting off with just a little bit. I don't want to pile it on. I do like that it's a buildable formula. Like, for example, let's look here at my blemish stain mark, hyperpigmentation that was left behind. I can still see it. We'll see if it's buildable. Let me go ahead and get it on the rest of the face. So far, I am not seeing a blurring effect. If you have seen it on yourself, seriously, please tell me in the comments what I need to do to make this look blurring. Now, this shade it's all right, but it's a little bit too rosy for me. I think it still works. Also, I'm adding some here to kind of clean up the eyeshadow. And I'm adding a little bit more just here on the areas where I would like more coverage. Let's see if I can get it to build successfully. Side note, something that I'm excited about, and I think I'm gonna do a video on this, because I'm looking at my hyperpigmentation, and it reminded me that I did a TCA peel successfully, DIY, at-home chemical peel, and it cost me like $45 compared to $350 that I pay when I get it done at a doctor's office. I'm thrilled about that because after you do a series of them, it really does help with just evening out your skin tone. Okay, so I got it to build. I don't have everything completely covered, but it's not claiming to be full coverage. I'll continue to try it, but I'm a little bit disappointed with that one. And now getting onto the concealer, this one from Natasha Denona. It launched. I don't know what products I was reviewing at the time that I just didn't get around to getting it. I guess I expected for the hype to just die down and for us to perhaps never hear about it again, because that's what happens with a lot of products. But no, I keep hearing about this concealer over and over again and how great it is. So of course I had to try it. This is a medium buildable formula with a luminous matte finish, it's described as. One of the key things with concealers, especially in your 40s and beyond, is to pay attention to the amount of product that you put on your face. Do not go on slathering concealer, because inevitably it is going to settle into fine lines and wrinkles. And often that amount of product is just not necessary to give you the coverage that you want. Another key thing that I like to do is I let it sit. Let it sit for a little bit. It's gonna give you more coverage, so give it a little time. All right, about 2 minutes have passed, and I'm going to begin to tap. Just tap on the concealer. So far it looks really nice, and it seems to have given me very nice coverage. A lot of concealers end up making the under eye area look dry, which of course it's not what we want. And then other concealers try to go the other way and be luminous, but they're far too radiant. I have it in the shade N5, and it does claim to be crease resistant. But honestly, I don't hold concealers to that claim because I have yet to find a creaseless concealer. I don't think that exists. I'll be very happy if this does not make my fine lines here look any more emphasized. Yeah, I'm happy with the coverage. I'm also happy with the finish. This so far looks to be a happy medium, perhaps a tiny bit on the matte side more than the radiant side. So before I set my face with powder, I want to add some warmth. So we're gonna use the Dior bronzing stick. This was a no-brainer for me to grab during the Sephora sale because I was so impressed with the Dior foundation stick. This made it to my top picks for my Sephora recommendations. And at the same time, I also got the Dior contour stick, which I've really been loving. So it was a no-brainer that during the Sephora sale, I would try their bronzing stick. This is in the shade 02 Tan. I was hoping that this wouldn't be too orange, but this looks pretty darn warm. But let's hope that it's gonna blend out just fine. I'll add a little bit on the cheeks, and that's it for now. Let's see first what happens. I'm gonna go in with my Sephora 88 brush. I think this is gonna be perfect to blend this out, and it is because it is so dense. The bristles are so densely packed in there that it does a really good job of blending out creams. Oh no. It's looking fine now. Maybe I just needed to keep on blending. Okay, I think it's looking better now. Yeah, I think it's looking better now, right? Now to get the bronzer into the hairline, I have this brush from Refer. It's a number 12 brush, and I love it. I have this one set aside to use just for this purpose, to blend that bronzer into the hairline. It is perfect for that. Now we're gonna set the face so that we can move on to the Kosas blushes. I am so excited to try these. We're trying the Makeup by Mario loose powder. This is supposed to give us a soft focus effect. I have it in the shade 3 Neutral Peach. I'm gonna use it to set the face, but I'm also going to use it to set my under eye. Only one side, because I want to see it compared to a finely milled powder such as the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Powder on the other side. I doubt that this powder is going to look good on the under eye because it's intended to set the entire face. I don't know, and you normally see powders that are sturdier for use all over the face. So let's go ahead and take just a little bit on this is a Real Techniques setting brush. And before I go in, it is looking really nice so far. What I'm liking is that I do see a little bit of radiance, a tiny bit, meaning that it's not looking dry and crackly. That was really my main concern. And I'm just tapping out the little bit that has gotten into some fine lines, but nothing alarming. Yeah, I'm really liking this concealer. So now we're taking the loose powder, the Mario powder right here in the under eye, and I'm not gonna go nuts with the powder. I'm gonna wipe off the brush here on my Sigma switch to get rid of that loose powder, and now I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury, this finely milled powder. And there we go. All right, so we'll see how they compare. Imagine if the Mario loose powder does well under the eyes. That would say a lot, right? Normally I use a puff to set my face, but I think I'm just gonna do it with the brush. I don't need a heavy duty setting here. I was watching the Sephora YouTube channel. They put up a video of Mario doing a very condensed masterclass. He did a whole face. And I remember him saying that he sets the face, he adds powder in thin layers, small amounts, and he started off using a brush. Eventually, he did use a puff, but he started off with a brush, kind of just targeting certain areas. He says that he always makes sure that one of the first areas to set are the smile lines. So that's what I'm doing. So far, the Mario powder. This seems to be somewhere in the middle between the Huda Easy Bake powder and something like the Givenchy loose powder. Yeah, somewhere, it sits somewhere in the middle. With the Huda loose powder, you can basically flatten out your face. It's pretty hardcore. I don't know how else to explain it. Instead of giving you a blur that is too harsh, feels like this is going to give a more of a soft focus effect. That's my first impression. I am excited to keep on trying it. Now finally, let's move on to the Kosas blushes. This was an extremely popular set. It actually sold out very quickly when the Sephora sale started. And then for some reason, I happened to check again about 3 days into the sale to see if the set was available, and it was. Sephora restocked it briefly. The day after I got it, it was sold out again. Very cute packaging. I'm gonna go with Euphoria because the Hourglass blush that I am going to compare it to is this mauve one. That way we have similar shade comparisons. Look at the luminous finish of this powder versus this one. I am not seeing that same amount of sheen on the powder itself the way that I see it here in the one from Hourglass. I'm taking my Real Techniques 407 brush. I like the color. One thing that I want to do the research about, and tell me if you know the answer to this. When we see the marbling here in the pan, does that mean that this is a baked formula? Yeah, that's pretty color. So far, I should stop now. This is a very pretty color, much more pigmented than the one that we're gonna put on from Hourglass. What do I think of the finish? It's not a matte finish. I do see a little bit of luminosity, actually. I did not think that I was gonna see any radiance from it, but I do. On the cheek, yeah, I think right there you can see it right there. Interesting. Another thing to look for is the blur, because the Hour blushes do give a little bit of a blur. With a Refer 04, I'm gonna go into that mauve shade. Much less kickback than with Kosas. All right, here we go. Okay, this is interesting. I'm noticing that the Kosas one has more of a glow than the matte from Hourglass. However, the difference I'm seeing is in the blur effect. The Hourglass blush is for sure giving me some blur, whereas the Kosas one is not as much. For the lips, let's do something neutral. I didn't get anything new during the sale. I'm gonna go with my Pat McGrath lip liner in the shade Structure, and with one of my go-to everyday lipsticks, which is this one from NARS in the shade Devotion 208. All of the products that I have mentioned are linked down in the description box. How are you guys feeling about the whole overlining trend? To me, it feels normal already. I remember the first few times that I did it. It just felt wrong to color outside the lines. Now I'm used to it, but I wonder how long this trend is going to last. This NARS formula I really like because it's very comfortable. It really is a lipstick that I keep in my purse. You don't need a mirror to apply it. It's very much like almost like a thin lip balm, but with a good amount of pigment. Let's check in on the under eyes and see how these powders are doing. Remember, I put the Makeup by Mario loose powder here, and then I used the Charlotte Tilbury on this side. Oh wow, okay. I was not expecting this. I am seeing a big difference in between the two sides. The Mario side looks better under the eyes. Huh. Considerably better. Interesting. Next up, I was waiting for this sale in order to grab the new Hourglass liquid blush brush. This is the one that was released at the same time as their Unreal liquid blushes. But honestly, this brush was almost $50. So I decided to just buy the blushes and not the brush. I have been liking this Sigma Contour Blush Brush F53 Air. It works great, but it's a little big. I'm wondering if this brush really is going to make the application of liquid blushes that much easier, better somehow. So what we're gonna do is try it out with this blush that I did get during the sale as well. The YSL blush. Maybe I do it like this. Oh, right. Okay, so let me take off this blush and I'll be right back to test these guys out. Let's look at this blush. Right off the bat, something I'm not liking is this. The rattling. This really should not, I mean, it's YSL. This should not rattle. This is 37 Peachy Nude. I am going to put it directly on the cheek. I know some of you do not like that, but I'm gonna do it. Let's start with 2 dots because I don't know how pigmented this is. Brush number 15, time to shine. Oh, okay. It's not as pigmented as I thought it was gonna be. That was easy and fast. Let's go in with more. What I'm liking about this size brush is that you really do have control as to where you're applying the blush with a brush such as this one, even though it does work incredibly. Why is it so stiff? Oh, because I just washed it. Let me do that, kind of fluff up the bristles. This one, you see how much bigger it is? It still works though. It does still work great, but I was wondering if this would somehow be magically much better than the one I had, which is not, except for the size. Really pretty blush. I like that the level of pigmentation is not extreme. I like the shade. Now let's look at the finish. What kind of finish are we getting here? This looks very natural. It is not flat matte. It is a natural finish. Let me bring it up here a little bit on top of the nose. All right, let's recap the foundation, the Easy Blur foundation. I'm kind of disappointed. I expected more blur from it, but I will continue trying it. All of these products, I will continue trying them over the next few weeks, and I'll come back with a makeup updates and give you my final thoughts. The bronzer from Dior. I initially thought that it was too warm. What I do like about it is that it does remind me of the foundation stick and the contour stick in how it glides onto the face and how it blends out flawlessly. It's a touch on the warm side for my taste. I still think that it does look natural. Let me know what you think in the comments. Blushes, Kosas. Compared to Hourglass? No. The one from Hourglass gives you blur. That doesn't mean that the Kosas ones are bad. I did like the shade that I tried on. I haven't tested the other two. But do I think that they are special? I don't. I have a feeling that Kosas is a brand that is very popular with a younger demographic. The translucent packaging, the purples, yeah, the bold colors, looks fun. These probably exploded on TikTok. And you know how it is with something that explodes on TikTok, it sells out. Just like the new Patrick Top eyeshadows, the duos, I managed to score one during the sale. They were all sold out, but I said there's a chance that they might get restocked. So when I checked, there was one shade that had been restocked. Talked to my team, I think it was. So I went ahead and I grabbed it. Let me know what you think. I find this very interesting, how some products blow up and some don't get the same attention, right? Makeup by Mario powder, very excited about this. I was not expecting for it to look better under the eyes than a Charlotte Tilbury finely milled powder that is specifically for, what does it say? Complexion perfecting eye and face micro powder that is intended to be used under the eyes. And honestly, it just, even now, look at them again. You see this line? These lines weren't there before. So this powder has a lot of potential. If you like this video, remember to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. See you there. Bye.